Augustana College, and we are looking at Unknown, two women painting from Plaster models, 1890 to 1900. Oil on canvas, and the country of origin is unknown.
This painting is about 32 inches by 24 inches. It's a relatively small painting. It's hard to be a part of this painting because it's so small and we have to look up at it as the viewer. Because of the framing of this painting, it feels like we are a part of these women's lives.
Yeah, almost like we are looking in at them while they're doing their daily routines. I feel like we're observing their natural and daily lives.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like this is a combination of a naturalistic and realistic painting, don't you?
Yeah, it's almost like the forms are manipulated, but not in the same way. They are an accurate representation of what the human body looks like. The skin tones have the greens, the blues, the pinks, and the fleshy colors that are representative of realistic. Yet the forms kind of have a roundness to them that are unrealistic. The naturalistic tendencies in this painting seem to be in the lack of detail in the body of both women. There isn't much detail except for the flesh, which is the only realistic part of the women's bodies. I would say the painting falls under the category of genre painting, mainly because we seem to be looking in on an everyday life scenario where the two women are painting, and we as the audience are just viewing it. We're not really noticed or acknowledged by the two women. However, they seem to be dressed in modern contemporary clothing, which of the 19th century seems almost to be middle to upper class because they also have their hair done in, I think or assume, bun. It also seems that the women are doing this as part of a hobby, not for a job or for education. It just seems it's something they like to do for fun and to pass time.
And to go off of that, this is a figural work since the viewer is drawn into what the ladies are doing, but the contrast of lighter and darker colors suggests to look beyond the figures and at the actual artwork that they are creating. Two qualities that could express the figures are like the colors in the skin, like we have already talked about before, and the details in their hair. You can clearly see all the colors that make up both of these qualities. You can see the greens and the blues and the yellows and the oranges and browns quite distinctly. You can also see the brush strokes very clearly in the hair and arms, which gives it that figural quality.
I would say that the diagonal lines of the women's painting arms lead the eyes throughout the painting and almost to the canvas, and from the canvas then to the models themselves, and then onto the environment in front of the women and what they actually see. So we're able to see through their vision what they perceive these plaster models to be.
You can see this through their shadings and their different techniques and contours throughout the paintings of their models that they are interpreting.
My eye is immediately drawn to the women painting in the chair. However, it then goes to the plaster models because we want to see how the women are perceiving this plaster model and how they are painting what they see. Then, against that pale and light color from the plaster models, we see the contrast in the shades, and so we are drawn into the curtain behind, which has volume and is leading our eye into the darkness behind.
After looking at the curtains in the background, our eye focuses back to the ladies. We look at their hair, see the highlights that are in their hair with the many colors. You can see this through the brush strokes that the artist applied. And then after the hair, I kind of get back into the clothes that they're wearing and see that they're casual, everyday clothes, but they are of the middle class, like we said. And after I look at the dresses, I'm immediately drawn into the chairs. Comparing the two chairs, the structures of them, the one on the left being curved and the one on the right being more straight.
I feel like the artist's intentions was to make the left side a little more playful because there's more varied color with the green and the blue of the clothing that the blonde woman is wearing. Also, the highlights in the blonde women's hair are much more bright and contrasting against the darkness of the brunette on the right. I also feel like because the chair is curved on the left and the chair on the right is very geometric and straight with the lines, it's almost contrasting against each other.
Yeah, I totally agree. The left side seems to be more of a lighter atmosphere than the right side, kind of implying that maybe the girl on the left is more young, playful with her sketches and her painting. You can see that with the colors represented.
Also, I kind of feel like it's heavier on the right side with all the darkness, and also the woman on the right is, I think, proportionally larger than the woman on the left.
Yeah, she's taking up almost the middle of the painting, and then all the way from the middle to the right side. She looks like an older woman, wouldn't you say?
I would say exactly that.
It almost looks like it's a mother-daughter in their studio at home working on their new art forms.
However, I feel like there's an imbalance within the painting. There's the heavier colors on the right-hand side and the lighter colors on the left-hand side, but also the woman on the right seems to be taking up more than half of the painting.
But it seems like there is a balance with the numbers within this painting. There are 2 women, 2 chairs, 2 models, 2 easels, and 2 canvases. But all the right side is heavier. I would agree with that statement.
I would say that the brushstrokes are pretty much controlled throughout the entire painting, except, ironically, in the paintings that the women are painting, they seem to be more loose and to be more vivid and apparent, which is ironic to me because the painting of the paintings is more painting-like.
Yeah, it seems like it's a little more rough around the edges within the paintings that they are painting within this painting.
The oil on the canvas, I think, allows for rich colors to be created and display the clean lines. However, it also allows for a smoother texture to be formed, and the lines seem to be clean around the ladies themselves. However, the contour lines are fuzzy when on the ladies themselves to create that softness.
Yeah, you can see the softness within like the colors of their dresses and also like within their hair. And even the lady on the left, like within her like bow tie.
Yeah, almost like the reoccurring theme from the Baroque era where the women are more soft and they have more emotion, so they're painted more gently.
More gently and with a little bit more curvature in them, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
The history behind this painting is actually quite interesting because these 2 women had the resources to have these anatomy models taken to their studio, possibly inside of a home, a different office place, or somewhere. But they did have the access to health and sciences, which is quite interesting during this time period because it seems like men were more in this kind of department during that time period.
Yeah, and that's why I think we were able to derive the idea that these 2 women were from the upper to middle class.
Yeah, I would agree since they had like more resources because of their wealth.
Yes. This is 2 women painting from Plaster Models by Unknown, and I'm Michaela Louisi.
And this is Jocelyn Plowman.
Thank you very much for listening.